to the Eligible In podcast, where you are encouraged to date our guests who are eligible singles that have been referred by their friends. My name is Devin, and fun fact, I was actually one of the first guests on this podcast. And then after that, they asked me to come back as a host. And I was so excited for two reasons. One, that I'm a Leo, so I love the spotlight. But more importantly, I love the mission. This podcast is such a creative way to connect people. I think at a time when the general population is experiencing a loneliness epidemic and are just generally fatigued by swiping and dating apps. So that brings me to our guest today. Adam works as a chef in the New York City fine dining scene, which is a pivot from the prior years that he spent in the international shipping industry. But he can tell his story way better than I can. So let's get down to business. Hi, Adam. Welcome.
Hey, Devin. Good to see you again.
You too. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up and how did you end up in New York?
Yeah. I grew up in Central Jersey, like halfway between New York and Philly. For college, I went up to Boston. I went to Northeastern, had gotten an economics degree, bachelor's of science. And then I found my way, as you said, like in international shipping. I was working for a Fortune 500 company in ocean exports, putting stuff in ocean containers. And then about 4.5 years went by and realized I didn't like waking up in the morning, going to the same job. So I wanted to do something where, I don't know, I felt a sense of purpose, sense of passion for what I love. Tried to get into software, got fired for the first time ever. Did not like that. So I was like, I really love food. Did not go to like a formal culinary school or anything. But one of the guys I went to college with, who I was a roommate with, he graduated with a neuroscience degree. He ended up in the kitchen. So I asked him some questions about how to, I don't know, break into the industry without having to go into more debt and getting a culinary degree. He gave me some pointers, and then he invited me out to, we were cooking together out in the Hamptons. So did that for almost 2 years. And now I decided I wanted to get to the urban jungle. So I came to New York about half a year ago.
That's awesome. Is your work life at all like the Bear? And do people ask you that all the time?
I mean, it was similar in that it was opening a restaurant. I was part of the opening team. But this restaurant was already a fine dining spot. It was just overgoing like a facelift. So it is like, in one sense of the word, like a yes chef kind of environment where it's very structured, but it's not like too high stress, I would say. It's definitely like high expectations was great. Like everybody cares about the product. But in terms of like everything going to shit, like no, it's actually pretty chill most nights, at least when the covers are spread out. But no, it's been very eye opening, and I've really enjoyed my time there so far.
It's funny that you say high stress, because I didn't finish the show. I watched, I think, 2 episodes during the pandemic, and I was like, I'm already anxious anyway from the pandemic. I don't think I need a show that's stressful. So it's good that you don't experience that as much in your day job.
Yeah, no, that's like a common critique of like people in the service industry saying like, they get PTSD from all the tickets ringing in and like stuff getting backed up, which I can sympathize with. But at the same time, I know it's entertainment. It's not actually like
right.
What I deal with most days. So, but the third season was still good. Like, people didn't like the third season. You only watched 2 episodes, but I thought the third season wasn't too bad. It was more like the building of the arcs of the characters, but I thought it was good.
I remember there being one season that stood out that people didn't like. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What is your schedule like as a chef? And I'm curious whether that presents any challenges for dating. And to hit you with like two more questions, I'm also curious whether you would ever date another chef or another person in the industry, or if you think that would just make things like either way too challenging, or if that would make things easier in the sense that like you might both then be on the same schedule.
Yeah. Well, just to give you a glimpse into my schedule, most nights I'm working service. Some nights I'll get out early doing like a prep shift, setting up my station partner for service. So that's looking like a 10 to 7-ish shift. But if I'm working service, it's like a 2 to like midnight, 12:31, depending how late the last table is. So yeah, I'm getting out real late. But it's New York, so it never feels that late. Weirdly, plus people come in late. Like everything's just it's always like happening kind of vibe.
It's like an airport, 24/7.
Except
People
you
coming
kind of
and going.
notice it with the subways where
Yeah.
everything's local at night. So when it takes me like 40 minutes to get to Chelsea from Crown Heights where I'm at night it's like an hour 15, and it feels that long. I've only fell asleep
Colin,
once. I missed my
Bell.
stop.
You missed your stop?
Yeah, only once though, and I wasn't even like drunk or anything. I was just like really tired.
Oh
But
my
oddly, the
gosh.
nights I'm going out for drinks, like I actually am able to, because I'm looking forward to going to the bodega and get something to soak up the alcohol I just consumed.
Yep,
So
yep.
I'm more vibrant when I'm after a couple drinks.
Yeah, totally. Who isn't? So for that reason, do you think dating another chef or someone in the industry would be like off the table? I didn't
I
even
wouldn't say
mean
off
to
the
use a pun
table.
there.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say off the table. I mean, personally and professionally, like in the same restaurant, probably not.
Yeah,
Just
that'd
like
be
I don't
awful.
want those emotions in like what I'm trying to like be a professional. But like some people do, like it's very common, like dating and even marrying somebody that you're like closely working with. I've seen it work. The last restaurant I was at, the general manager and the bar manager married. Now I worked the wedding. It was at the restaurant. It was really cool.
That's so
Um,
fun.
yeah, no, it was a great time. It was like just a great like reprieve from normal service. Like they
Yeah,
turned the whole outdoor like patio into like a dance floor. It was fun, and I
so
think they just
cool.
had their first kid. So like I can see like if you have the right like goals and intentions in mind, like that could definitely work.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, sharing a passion with somebody is always great. I think.
Do they still work together?
I believe so. Yeah, I think from
Okay,
what I
going strong.
heard recently, she just got back from maternity.
Okay.
And yeah, she's still like creating new cocktails. They do a thing on Friday nights where they do a special cocktail and dinner like tasting menu kind of thing, and she's still running that. And yeah, no, I think everything's great with them.
Well, as long as they're not like, killing each other either at home or in the workplace, sounds to me like they're thriving.
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
What do you like to do on your off days when you're not at the restaurant?
I have a couple friends in the city. I like to go like see movies with them. Now it's baseball season. I'll try and get out to some Yankees and some Mets games. I'm a Cubs fan. The Cubs are coming to Citi Field next weekend. And I have Thursday, Friday off, so I'll probably try and go to the Friday game. That'll be fun. I live pretty close to Botanical Garden. The cherry blossoms are in bloom, so that's something I'm still meaning to hit, like while they're still in peak bloom. Yeah, no, just trying to enjoy the city as much as possible. great scenes everywhere.
Yeah. That's so good of you. I would be like at home watching Netflix. So that's such a wholesome answer. You mentioned baseball, and your former coworker actually nominated you for this, and
Yes.
apparently you bonded over being Chicago sports fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no,
How
shout
did
out
you
Renee.
develop that
What's
fandom
up?
coming from Jersey?
Oh, so how that happened, I was like born into it. Um, my dad converted to being a Cubs fan in like the 80s. He was originally a Yankees fan, got tired of Steinbrenner and all that kind of stuff, and they kind of sucked in the 80s, if I recall correctly. And his brother met his wife while he was stationed in the Navy. She's actually from Wrigleyville. So his brother was the first convert because he went to Wrigley Field, fell in love with the whole atmosphere. So eventually invited my dad out there to see some games, and then he fell in love with Wrigley Field. And the Cubs were good in like the late 80s, early 90s. He went to some playoff games, I believe. And yeah, so then by the time I came around in the mid 90s, it was all hands on deck. And then like 98 happened. I was only 3. But 98 was some of my formative memories, the McGuire Sosa home run chase. And yeah, I love Sammy Sosa, still love Sammy Sosa to this day. And I just remained in that fandom for better or worse. But 2006 was great. 2016 made it all worth it. So
Yeah. I was actually born in Chicago, and I still have family. My cousins and my aunt are there. So I know how that goes. The Cub fandom is strong. Win or lose, they're in it.
mostly lose.
Predominantly losing. But you know,
No,
the
but like
energy
I
still
always say,
strong.
like that's why I have a kinship with my friends who are Mets fans, because it's like
Yeah.
it takes a lot to root for a team that doesn't really give you a lot of happiness. So
Right.
it's definitely a big character building thing.
Exactly. So I have a fun idea of a game that we can play.
Sure.
I am going to throw out a bunch of restaurant names, and you're going to say whether they're actually New York City bars or restaurants, or if
Oh
I totally
God.
made them
Okay.
up.
Are these like across genres, or are these just like
Yeah,
fine
like
dining spots?
bars, restaurants across New York in different areas,
Okay.
just to test your knowledge. Okay, the first one is Kathy's Dumplings.
Kathy's Dumplings? I've been to Kathy's Dumpling now.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say real. Let's go
Okay.
real.
Yep.
All right.
Confirmed real. How was it?
No, I haven't. I was just riffing there. No, I haven't been there. Where is it? Where is it?
Wanted
Is
you to
it
rate the
good?
dumplings. It's on 80th. Let's see, 3rd Ave.
Upper East.
Okay.
Okay.
The next one is Jerk Off the Grill.
Jerk Off the Grill. I should know if that's real because I'm in the Caribbean part of like Crown Heights and then almost into Flatbush there. Jerk Off. No way, that can't be real.
It's real.
Oh damn. Okay.
It's a real Jamaican restaurant. I'm trying to see the address on it. 78th Street.
Oh, it's in Manhattan or Brooklyn.
And the important to point out that it's 2 different words and not,
One
those
word,
2
yeah.
first words combined, because that could really alter the meaning.
I think so.
What about King of Falafel and Shawarma?
Well, I know in Boston, from my time there was Falafel King.
So good.
King of Falafel. Sure, that sounds real.
Yeah, that's real. I feel like that one wasn't too much of a stumper.
Yeah, you didn't have to go too far for that one, yeah.
Yeah, that one wasn't a real reach. What about King Daddy Barbecue?
No.
No. Totally made up.
Daddy.
What about Galway Hooker?
I've been to Galway Hooker. It's in Hoboken.
Yep.
For some reason, they have like a $20 cover because it's like right on the water there. It's like,
Yep.
Yeah, it's not my scene, but some people like it.
Covers are such a tough pill to swallow. I'm like, do I really just have to pay just to like cross the threshold, and then I'm gonna like rack up a bar tab too?
Yeah, it's like, okay, like if you're getting a table somewhere, sure, like that's one thing.
Yeah.
But if it's like to
Or like,
stand in a packed bar,
yes, yeah. If
what are
it's
we
going
doing?
to something, yeah. If I'm paying a band or a DJ, fine.
Yeah, but it's never that. Like always, yeah, no.
You're not getting that there.
Usually not. I don't know. I've only been a couple times.
What about a place called Bananas?
Bananas. It's like maybe like a smoothie spot. I'll go say that's real.
Okay, it is real. It looks like it's a Chinese restaurant
Chinese, okay.
in the East
Maybe
Village.
boba?
What was that?
Boba tea?
I don't know. We'll find out. Now I kind of want to go. I'm curious. This one's funny. Forget about it.
Oh, it has to be. Like, there has to be at least 20 places called Forget About It. Yeah, they love that's on like all like the roadside signs. Yes, has to be real.
Is that a big thing in New York? We don't have any Forget about it in Boston. I like that.
It's just that's like the thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Your shtick. Yeah, that one is real. It's a bakery. Shocker. Let's see. In Fort Greene.
Okay.
In case you're interested. What about Goth Hamon?
Goth Hamon? No.
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 That one is
I don't
totally
think
made up.
Goths have reached the Latino like that. That specific. Not yet. Maybe, but
It's quite the
no.
hybrid. Oh, this one's cool. What about Threesome Toll Booth?
Yeah, sounds like a Bushwick kind of place.
Real? We're
Yeah.
going with real?
Where is it?
I don't know. Apparently, it is the smallest bar in New York, and it can only hold the bartender and 2 other people. So it makes sense if you haven't been there.
Threesome Toll Booth. Let's see.
I wonder how that works. Like, is that a reservation system? It's got to be.
But for only 2 spots? Have you been to Tokyo?
No, I've always wanted to go.
There's this part of Shinjuku called the Golden Gai, Gai, and it's like a bunch of those like little hole in the walls. Like every place you pass is like a bar counter kind of thing, and I imagine it's maybe like that. But
I bet they're all so good too.
oh, they're incredible. Like one of the spots we went to was like literally this guy's like apartment. Like they brought us upstairs, like these tiny little stairs. We're like sitting on this guy's like bed or couch, and he's just bringing up like
bomb.
shots of like whiskey and sake. It was great.
That's so cool. I went to I think the closest I've been to that is like Hong Kong. Growing up, I went with my dad on a business trip, but I was just like, I was in that awkward age where I couldn't really wander by myself, and he was in meetings, and I feel like I need to go back as an adult. But like I still remember the food on that trip, and it was incredible. So good.
Insane.
What about Ugly Baby?
Ugly Baby.
So hurtful.
That's a Seinfeld episode, right? So I'm gonna say real.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
It's a Thai restaurant in Brooklyn. All right, last one. The Adam's Apple.
Adam's Apple. I'm gonna say fake.
So apparently, yes, it's not a restaurant, but it was a popular 1970s disco. So kind of a trick question.
Oh, okay. So, Is it so? It's no longer there.
It existed at one point
Okay.
in real life, and
We'll take that as a W.
Yeah. No idea where it was. So I have a question. I am, and I think we chatted about this a little bit in like an earlier call, but I'm fascinated by the New York City dating scene because in my mind, it's this cornucopia of options and it's a giant dating pool with lots of options, different strokes for different folks, something for everybody, whatever kind of phrase you want to use there. And the reason I have that theory is because I have a couple single friends who moved there from Boston and they just like instantly met their partners and like their life partners. They went on to then like marry these guys. So I am super curious what your take is on that fantasy that I have in my head about New York City dating and sort of how your experience has been since you've moved there, which I know you've been there, what, 6 months, did you say?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. I concur with like once you get there, you're gonna meet somebody that you dig. I met a couple ladies, but yeah, I think if you're looking for the match that you want, like it's not terribly difficult to find somebody that you click with. Um, for me, I'm a little more like in my own head about like finding a life partner, so I haven't found, obviously that's why I'm on this show, I guess.
Maybe this show can change that.
Maybe yeah, that's what we're here for. No, yeah, I definitely think that like if you're coming to find somebody like within your own community and like with certain intentions, I don't think that's impossible within like the first couple months.
Yeah, just given that there are so many options.
Yeah,
more people.
Lots of people are heartbroken at any given moment, so you never know when somebody's looking to rebound.
I feel like the abundance too, though. I mean, you could make the argument the other way too, that like the abundance could also make things overwhelming. Like you have more to filter through, especially if you're, I mean, everybody's looking for something different, but like, especially if you're looking for something a little more niche, I don't know.
Oh, 100%. Like, if it's a buffet, like you're like, oh, I didn't try this. Yeah, you know, like to put it in like crass terms, but yeah, it's like.
No, I love how you put it in food
I really
terms.
wanted that garlic lemon shrimp. Like it's just sitting there. Like I know it's been sitting there for a little bit, but like it seems kind of hot. Like I don't know.
Do you seem like, I think you said this too, that you're more of like an IRL kind of person when it comes to meeting people. Is that the case? And also, what has your experience been like on the apps?
Well, I mean, the first few ladies that I was seeing were through the apps.
Okay.
But again, like most people, I don't like the apps at all. Very dehumanizing kind of experience. But like for these like trends you see, like over half now of like lifetime or like married couples meet through these things. Like I know a lot of people that have met through them. But yeah, I think going through friends and family or common interests, I think is way more authentic in what I would be looking to find.
Yeah. Are your friends matchmakers though? Like, I don't know that I could say that my friends, especially my married friends, I don't think they would like see a single guy and just like instantly think of connecting the two, just because they've been partnered up for so long that they don't even think about it. So I'm like, if I'm going to rely on that,
yeah, it's like you go in the group setting and you kind of still have to fish. You know what I'm saying? Like you still got to throw your rod out there. Not to sound that obvious about it, but yeah, no, it's not a hook, line, and sinker. You still got to do most of the work on your own. Yeah.
So you said you met the first two women that you met just like since being in New York on the apps. Which apps do you generally like have more success on? Do you like better? Do you gravitate toward?
I mean, I only use Hinge right now.
Okay.
There's these other apps now apparently that like make the matches for you, and like you do it like once a week or something, but you gotta like request access. I'm like, I'm not request like what? Like that sounds like a lot. Yeah, Hinge in college when I was more popular. Obviously, I used Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I've used Bumble in the past, but mainly Hinge now. But again, not that frequent of a user.
Yeah. Hinge seems to be the more mainstream one that's kind of emerged. If someone's using just one, it's probably Hinge. So I feel like, you know, it's a good safe
Yeah,
bet.
I feel like the life cycle of those apps kind of are pretty short.
Yeah. I mean, especially if you live in a dating pool like Boston, where you know every other person, or you know a friend that's hooked up with the person, or, you know, it's never anyone like totally net new. Um, so dating apps in real life. I have a question too on the location part of things. I was listening to this podcast, and this woman was saying that she lives in New York, and she said, what was the quote? She said, if I have to go over 2 bridges, I'm out. And I thought that was so interesting, if and just to wonder if there's truth to New Yorkers thinking like that's that location minded when they're deciding who they want to date. And so I was just curious, like, have you thought of that? And if you have, like, how far out of your borough would you date in New York?
I don't I don't know about the 2 bridges being a hard and fast rule. I mean, obviously for me it's more tunnels, but uh, if I'm going over an hour, it's got to be like a serious like I can't stop thinking about this girl kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like obviously within Brooklyn would be very nice, but yeah, anything within 45 to an hour probably my max. Like
I mean, even that feels like
it's
long distance.
yeah, but like when I'm commuting that for that every day, it's sort of like that's not too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I guess New Yorkers are different. Like you're in it, you're committed to the commute, you're
yeah,
on a
because like today,
subway, you
I
deal.
checked. I finally got to check out this like French bistro cafe I've been meaning to hit, and it's like a mile walk, but like it's such a nice day. It felt like 10 minutes, even though it was like probably like 20, 25. But I'm willing to like commute.
Totally. Especially if it's a walk. Like I will always justify a walk on a nice day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
In New York, you can do that.
yeah, like the distance doesn't feel like the if you were like in a suburban setting where there's no sidewalk. Like what? I'm walking a mile? Like no, it's not that
Right.
serious. You know.
Yeah. Do you think that it's getting harder for people to just like live and work in New York, like cost of living? Or do you think it's kind of always been that way and people will always just kind of like find a way to make it work because it's New York?
I mean, if you're dedicated, you'll like, if, especially like my buddy who's been doing comedy since he was in high school. So he has been here for ever since he graduated college for like 8, almost 10 years, whatever. And he loves the comedy scene. He works as a barista. He's done other gigs before, but he edits videos. And then obviously he'll get paid for some spots here and there. So like if you're in that kind of like in myself, speaking for myself, like working in the fine dining industry, like it's hard to top places like New York, Chicago, LA, wherever,
Right.
because you're there for that specific like experience. So the cost of living is kind of like the cross you bear, so to speak.
Right.
But if I was like working what I was doing, like right out of college, like I wouldn't be living. Like it doesn't make sense. Like
Yeah.
you got to be like pursuing your passion. I think. I mean, people live here. People grow up here, so like obviously, like people are going to be working whatever XYZ job because this is home.
Right.
But for people that are transplants like myself, I think unless you're following a passion, I don't think it makes too much sense to uproot and come here. I think.
Right. What have you noticed? Are there ways that your restaurant or just the restaurant industry in general has sort of had to adapt to like any economic changes or dining trends just in like the post-pandemic world, or even like now with the economy the way that it is?
I think so for 100%. Like, so my chef and her business partner, they actually sold. They had a 2-star Michelin tasting menu. Within like a year, they sold to Tao Group Hospitality, which is a huge restaurant group, and I guess now worldwide. So they sold the space, whatever, to the restaurant group, and now it's like we still have the fine dining like restaurant, but now they have this members club lounge like DJ spot in the basement, because that's what's profitable, like selling these like membership kind of experiences to people, like exclusive experiences, catering to the the 1% kind of thing is unfortunately where I think most of this is like shifting, especially in the fine dining scene where like you're asking people to pay $100+ for like a steak or whatever. It's kind of like they know that they're not getting like mostly working class people. They're getting people that are like either coming in or like coming to drop like thousands of dollars. Yeah.
I also think the pendulum has swung far in the other direction too, with like, even just now being able to like finance Uber Eats and do like Afterpay and payments for a fucking burrito. It's wild. Like, don't give me that option.
I was surprised how, I guess I shouldn't have been because of like how many commercials there are for like Uber Eats and DoorDash now, but like the economy for that is like boomed insane. Like anytime you go like to any like counter service kind of place or even like a fast food place, there's at least like 2 to 3 guys with the motorcycle helmets and the moped helmets, like picking up orders, like, and it's definitely viable. I'm assuming to work that full time, because the demand is so high for it. People don't really want to go anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
Especially after work or something, or after a night out.
Yeah. Yep. Do you find yourself doing a lot of that when you're not working? Like when you're home, I can't imagine that you'd want to be like cooking for yourself. I would imagine it's a lot of like bodega and ordering from like an Uber Eats like that.
Yeah, I got like a bunch of options around me. Like I'd like to like test like techniques out like when I'm at home, just because that's like my career now. So like I do try to do that, but in terms of like meal prepping and stuff, like there's only I'm at the restaurant, they feed us, like I feed myself, like I don't really do too much of that, but stopping around like when I'm coming home at like 1 a.m. 2 a.m. stopping in for a deli sandwich is preferable.
There's got to be just like the best options in New York too. Like in Boston, it's not looking great at that hour. Like you take what you can get, but limited options.
I mean, if it's really late, it's only like it's still pretty limited here, but it's there. So
yeah. Do you ever cook for dates, or are you like, nah, it reminds me too much of work?
I've offered. I was like, yo, I do this. And like, they're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable. I was like, all right, whatever. Like,
I mean, fine, I can see that for the first date, but like subsequent dates,
it's on the table.
Yeah. It does feel like kind of a flex too. Like, I get what you're saying, like to offer that up, especially if it's early.
Yeah, I guess that's it's a strong move, but it doesn't because like it's not that much work for me, because it's like this is what I do. So like I don't feel like I'm like going too far out of my way to like put out something nice. I don't know.
Even if it looks like that, or even if it comes off like that, you're like, no, this is my dog.
Yeah, like
I can do this in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
What would you cook for them if they took you up on that? Like, what's your go-to?
any kind of pasta. I'm not going too crazy. Yeah.
Do you
Nice
make
salad.
the pasta?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. I gotta test. I gotta
I'll
see
like
where we're at
source some
here.
like good imported like noodles, like some garganelli or some fucking like
Yep.
whatever. But like I'm not going that ham. No.
Honestly, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference either. So.
I think you would. I think you would. I think you
Oh.
like homemade like it's substantially different. I think.
Yeah. I kind of am just like down the hatch. Not picky. What I have a question. Who would you say is like a male role model for you? Either in life, real. I mean, I was gonna say celebrity, but like probably not the case. I don't know.
Male role model in terms of like how they
More
live their
generally
life, or
speaking, yeah, more generally speaking.
I'll go ahead and say my brother. He's like 2.5, 3 years older than me. He works his passion. He kind of like pushed me into like finding something I loved, and he works for the Pittsburgh Pirates. He works in baseball, which is incredible. Like we both obviously love baseball, so
Yeah.
now he's a full-time Florida man. He lives down there, but he's traveling a lot. But I mean, he gets to work in baseball. Like, how do you beat that? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely my brother is one of my biggest influences in terms of.
And then who would you say is more like a couple role model figure for you? Like if you have like friends that you can think of that you're like, oh, they just have like a great healthy relationship.
Oh yeah, without questions, my friends Fipe and Ashley. Fipe is short for Felipe. I met him at Northeastern, and he met his future wife Ashley through his younger sister, who was also in Boston at the time, but she was actually from Florida originally. But they're both like Venezuelan immigrants. They both have similar family values, family structures. So they hit it off like immediately. Like, and I was lucky enough to be his best man at their wedding back in 21 down in Miami. I actually gave my best man like 25-30% of my best man speech in Spanish for the Spanish speakers in the audience. Yeah, I wrote it down. Like I'm not like I wasn't off the dome, but they appreciated the effort, I think. But no, like they just had their first kid, Lucia. She was born early August, I think. But no, they're incredible people. I love being in their presence, and yeah, no, they're whenever I see them together, and like I'm like these people are made for each other. Like
Yeah.
I don't really see that like a lot, and like when
Yeah.
you do see it, you're like, wow, like this exists. Like this is
Totally.
crazy.
And I feel like it's the couples like that where you also don't feel like a third wheel. Like I think when you hang out, if you hang out with them just by yourself, like I have a lot of friends like that who have just awesome partners, and you just feel like you're coupled up with them when you hang out with them. Like it's so
like you're
comfortable.
all like a family. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
100%. Like I consider both of them like a brother and a sister. Like it's just incredible people.
Yeah. What would you say are the sort of like traits that you're really looking for if you had to narrow it down?
Traits in
a partner.
Potential partner. Just like good communication, like figuring out like what we're both looking for, and just like obviously like a good sense of humor, because I love to laugh, and love to share laughs. Yeah, I don't know, like just regular like a good ambition in their lives, and somebody that wants to build something, I guess.
Mm-hmm. So fun, funny, ambitious, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you feel like we didn't cover that you think people listening to this podcast should know about you?
I'm big into jam bands. I
Yes.
love Fish. There's a new band, Goose. That's a big part of my life is going to like live music, especially jam music. I would like a potential partner to at least put up with the amount of jam music that I like. Be ideal. They don't have to go to the shows, but having in the background, they shouldn't be upset by it.
They're not offended by it.
Yeah, no, because there's a lot of anti Grateful Dead people. Like I just don't understand it. I don't get it. Like, what do you mean?
Are you the type that's been to, like, you have a running count of Fish shows that you've been to?
I wish. I've only been to like 5 or 6, but I'm very jealous of the people that like go on tour, suspend their life, and just like make it work. That's a dream of mine, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
I think it's so wild the chokehold that band has over its audience and its supporters. Like it's like Taylor Swift effect. Like I'm like, you're traveling to see, but I don't think it is the same show every time. I think they mix it up so much.
That's the thing. Like then that's kind of like when I go to see like a rapper or something, unless the rapper is like actually rapping and not like have like with the backtrack or something, it's like this isn't authentic, this isn't improvised, this like so like my expectation for most all of their shows now where I'm like, this song sounds exactly the same as the studio recording. What the hell? Like I want it to sound weird and like different and like jammed out. Like and it's harder to find when it's like most people are like, I want it to sound exactly like it does in my headphones when I'm on the train or whatever. But it's like, no, I want them to like expand it.
I saw Fish at Madison Square Garden. It actually ended up being the night my nephew was born, because they in the time lived in New York City. So my whole family was there sort of expecting this baby to be born. We thought it was going to be, he was going to be born later. And so I went to the Fish show with my mom and with my cousins, and we were like drinking, having a blast, and we get home and then my nephew ends up being born like 2 hours later. We get woken up after like basically a 2-hour nap, have to go to the hospital. And anyway, such a like memorable night. But the show was incredible. It was so
it 17?
Awesome.
Was it the Baker's Dozen?
I couldn't even tell you.
You know about the Baker's Dozen?
No.
20, I believe it was the summer of 2017. 13 straight nights, not one repeat. They have a banner at MSG. They have a banner at MSG for the Baker's Dozen, like 13 shows, like
not one song repeat. How do they have a library that big that they could do that? Clearly,
they do some covers, but they do have a very expansive library. Yeah, no, it's insane.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
No, you go to like I went to one of their shows and I was like, okay, I get it. I respect it. It all makes sense. Yeah. So you might be able to convert some people too. Like if they're just like, I don't get it, but they go to one show and then they're like, okay, I can like at least respect it now. The respect is there, even if I'm not like an instant fan.
Exactly. Yeah. You just gotta like go along for the ride, enjoy the journey. Like
yeah. Probably in an altered state. I can imagine that's more popular than being, sober at those things. It's quite the show.
I 100% agree with that sentiment. Altered state it's even better. It's even better.
Anything else beyond jam bands that we missed?
I mean, I haven't done it once in this interview yet because I'm very formal right now. But whenever I'm usually talking to like people. And they say something I agree with, I'll give a couple snaps. I'm known for snapping an agreement with somebody.
You haven't snapped once for me. Now I'm offended.
No, that's true. I have not snapped yet, but I feel like I didn't want to like upset the audio.
Yeah, that's what it is.
That's what...
It's for the producer's sake.
But like it's sort of one of those things where like my friends will pick up on it and like they'll start to like, you know, I say it's like a live retweet kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just like a funny quirk that I do. Like I try not to be like over the top about it, obviously, but
so 3 in a row max, or if it's really good, it gets more than 3 snaps.
I'll keep. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the more relatable, the higher the snap volume.
Yeah, when you're spilling tea, like I'm gonna.
Yep.
Make sure you know.
Yep. Okay, that makes sense. Adam, it was so lovely hearing your story, getting to know you. I know that there are definitely going to be listeners out there right now who are listening and feel the same way. So if you're one of those people who are listening to the podcast and you know somebody who would be a good fit, or if you yourself think that you'd be a perfect fit for Adam, go to our website at eligiblein.com, or you can email us at hello@eligiblein.com.
Thanks for listening to Eligible In, a production of Eligible In Media. Our theme song is by Monster Rally. If you see someone you like on our show, or if you would like to nominate yourself or someone you love to be interviewed by us, please visit us at eligiblein.com for more information, including a link to subscribe to our newsletter, where you can stay up to date on our newest episodes, as well as exclusive features of our eligible people.
Lovely you.